Good morning to all of you out there. Welcome to the program agenda on this 17th day of February 2022. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat and maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us this morning and for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News PH, and followers of Agenda on channels 8 and 250. For those of you who are on the go or work on the work shift, you can also watch our replays on Facebook and on YouTube. Just punch in One News PH and then look for Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, welcoming you today. And to get the day started, let's go to our daily starter, which comes from the book of Isaiah chapter 5 in the Bible. Woe to them who call evil good and good evil. Okay, ang ibig pong sabihin niyan, baka meron na kayong mga kilala. Hindi kayo, you may know people who are now saying, oh, okay lang patayin yan. Okay lang na makidnap yan. Hindi, mabait yan kahit korap yan, etc., etc. Medyo wala po yun sa ayos. It is not the correct perspective. So be careful because yun po ang mga binabalikan ng Panginoon. Yung binabaliktad ang tama at yung mali ang ginagawang tama, yung tama ay binabaliwala. Okay, so that's our daily starter. And now, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. On this 17th of February, it's a Thursday, 8:03 in the morning. The headline of the Philippine Star, COMELEC may ease campaign health rules. According to Acting Chairperson Commissioner Socorro Inting, the poll body is now studying how they can adjust the rules of the COMELEC regarding social distancing and restrictions about selfies, hugging, kamayan, etc. And they recognize the fact that when those guidelines were formulated, the country was generally, and particularly Metro Manila, was under alert level 3. Ngayon pong medyo halos mag-alert level 1 na tayo. We are still in alert level 2 but a very low level alert level 2. They're now seriously studying how to relax the rules. Okay, at the top of the Philippine Star, President Duterte okays national ID as proof of identity. The President has signed an executive order that institutionalizes the national ID or the Phil system as proof of identity in any government and private facility requiring identification. Kumbaga, hindi nyo na kailangang ilabas yung isang damukal o isang punong wallet ng mga ID para magpakilala kayo. That big picture at the first half, the top half of the Philippine Star, please pay attention to that big picture because the Philippine Star did that for a special reason. It is to make Filipinos, particularly those in the National Capital Region and those dependent on water collected in dams. Ayan po, ang water elevation sa Lamesa Dam as of yesterday was at 78.78 meters, which is approximately 1 point something meter lower than the average or normal level. Medyo, yan na po, that is a warning to all of us that if we are not careful, if we do not individually make a sacrifice and conserve water, we are going to have a water shortage by the months of April and May. So mag-ingat po tayo, magtipid sa tubig. Now, there is a new chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights, none other than Commissioner Lea Tanodra Armamento. And she will be sitting as the new CHR chief hanggang sa matapos na yung term nung namayapang former CHR chief Cito Gascon until May 5. So short term lang si CHR Chief Armamento, but congratulations nonetheless. Okay. The photo in the lower half of the Philippine Star is of tricycle na galing no? Meron pa siyang banner pero hindi siya tinatanggal ng COMELEC. Mask is a must. Kailangang nakamaskara ka, naka-face mask ka sa Maynila. Okay, as cases drop, President Duterte reminds Filipinos meron pa ring COVID. Mag-ingat po tayo, and to support that statement of the or reminder of the President, yesterday's active cases, new cases, 2,671. Kahapon, di ba, 2,002 lang yata or something. 2,002 something. Ngayon, 2,671. So, tumataas, bumababa. The number of people who died, 77. Kahapon lang po yan. Okay. And on the left bottom part of the front page, you have, once again, a Robinson's Kiddie Vaccination Party. Yun na po ang approach ng mga iba't ibang LGU and private corporations that provide pediatric vaccination. They host kiddie parties para yung mga bata hindi na to trauma. Meanwhile, the Ateneo Group, Ateneo Policy Center conducted a survey covering 1,500 respondents, at ang lumabas po, Filipinos are still looking for strong, honest, intelligent leaders. Okay, so hindi po totoo yun na yung mga Pilipino ay hindi choosy, hindi namimili ng tama. Naghahanap pa rin sila nung kinikilala nilang matapang, matalino, okay, at mapipunong pamumuno. Okay. Meanwhile, bottom of the front page of the Philippine Star, the Department of Energy prepares for possible fuel supply disruption. Okay. They are now reportedly drafting an oil contingency plan to ensure adequate fuel supply amid the supply disruptions in the international market. Short commentary lang po. Huli na, disrupted na ang supply, kasi kung hindi po yan disrupted, hindi tayo magbabayad ng 60 pesos per liter. Okay, ano yung sinusulat ninyong supply contingency? Rationing. Anyway, that's the front page of the Philippine Star. And now, let's go to our main program, the interview program. We have invited the spokesperson of the Philippine National Police to be our first guest today, because po there are many developments that concerns the PNP, and I will run them down for you. Recently, there was an announcement by the PNP that there is a potential recruitment of terrorists going on in Mindanao, and they could target Israeli technicians in the banana plants and even Israeli citizens in the Philippines. And then, of course, there is the issue of numerous cases involving police officers in criminal behavior or criminal acts. Yung pong napatay na mayor ng Calbayog, si Mayor Aquino, yun, sumurrender, siyam na pulis. Merong businessman, bandang Quezon na Bicol area yata, yung may Bumbaya apelido, he was kidnapped, and HPG naman daw ng Laguna, etc. And then, of course, you have the 25 to 30 sabongeros ang kumakalat 30, ang official 25 sabongeros that have disappeared, and Oplan Baklas where PNP personnel ang nakita sa video na naghihilan ng tarpaulin, and of course yung mga armed groups. So let's bring in Police Colonel Jean Fajardo, PNP spokesperson. Good morning, Colonel Fajardo. Welcome to the program Agenda.
Good morning, Sir Cito, and to all your listeners and subscribers.
Okay, pasensya ka na, istorbo ko kayo, no? Kaya lang medyo naipon eh. Marami na yung pag-uusapan natin. I guess we can start with this report of a terrorist plot or activity recruiting potential terrorist assassins targeting, in particular, Israeli citizens and technicians in the Philippines.
Yes, Sir Cito, no, last year, the PNP Intelligence Group uncovered a plan to recruit a local threat groups here in the Philippines by a Hamas operative who incidentally is in the red notice of the Interpol. So according to the local source, that as early as 2016, he was being recruited by this Hamas operative. And in fact, based on our interview with the local source, he had a frequent travel to and from Malaysia from 2016 to 2018 to touch base with this Hamas operative, Sir Cito.
Okay, now siyempre hindi ko naman pwedeng kalkalin yung mga nalalaman ninyo, but what is the possibility or how strong is the evidence that this group is planning something in Metro Manila or in Cebu? I mean in Mindanao, sorry.
Yes, Sir Cito, no, there was no specific details given to us, but the information that was shared to us is that this local source, the last communication he had with this Hamas operative is in last 2018. Fortunately or unfortunately, the local source suffered stroke, which prevented him from continuing with communicating with this Hamas operative. So last year, upon knowing this local source, the PNP validated the information and in fact coordinated with the Interpol. That's why we found out that he was indeed connected to the Hamas organization, serving as the logistics officer and foreign liaison section of the Hamas. But suffice to say, Sir Cito, na that as of today, we have not monitored or received any credible threat pertaining to the plan that was uncovered early last year.
What about the operative? Because that news was revealed last night. And what about the operative? Has he been arrested, detained, or located for questioning? Kasi kumbaga, everything will be dependent on whether the PNP or Interpol gets this guy.
Yes, sir. The last information we received is that the Hamas operative is a resident of Turkey, and he is now subject of the manhunt operation of the Interpol as well as the other law enforcement agencies.
Is he Colonel? Colonel, is this guy an independent operator, a lone wolf, or is there really yung kasi ang sinabi kahapon proxy war in the Philippines. Kumbaga, yung away nila sa Israel and Palestine dadalhin dito sa Pilipinas. Is this guy a lone wolf or is it part of a real plan?
The information shared by the local contact, Sir Cito, is that this Hamas operative is really connected with the Hamas organization. And in fact, this was confirmed by the Interpol, having been included in the Interpol Red Notice. But what the information given to us is that the local contact was enticed to be the local focal person for this operative, and the instruction was to really be the focal person and be able to recruit more to really target a specific foreign national, which is the Israeli.
Okay, let's go from Hamas, let's go to Himas. And when I say Himas, Himas Manok, because it's a big and serious story when 25 people to 30 people go missing because of cockfighting anomalies. Now, what is the actual number on record of missing people related to these sabong scams?
Yes, Sir Cito, no, officially the number that was given to us by the DCIDG, who is the one leading the investigation, is 26 so far. However, we are receiving some information. There are others who are reported missing but have not come forward to lodge a formal complaint. So officially, the CIDG has a 26 on their list, Sir Cito.
Okay, now this, what is the status of this case, Colonel Jean? Because some people feel parang, wow, 2 years old na yung iba dyan or 1 year old na. Bakit ngayon lang? Why is it only now being addressed by the PNP? What's happening? Why is this the situation?
Yes, Sir Cito, no, just to give you background, no, the last January 14, the family of the reported missing Sabumeros came forward to report the missing their missing family who were last seen January 13 coming out from a cockfighting arena here in Manila. So that was the start of the investigation. And then the following day, they received another report that there's another 4 missing Sabuneros. And while investigating and consolidating all the information, they received information that families of at least more than 10 missing Sabungero who were reported missing last year were in fact still looking for their relatives and family members. So they touch base and interviewed those family members, and it appears that there are a lot more than what is being reported to them that is now subject of manhunt and subject of the police operation, so that we could find a way to really investigate what is the cause of the reported disappearance of these cockfighting aficionados, Sir Cito.
Okay, Colonel Franco, there are various levels of how the law enforcement agencies treat cases. There is the missing person case, there is the kidnap case, but in the matter where you have more than 26 to 30 individuals who have disappeared, they're not kidnapped victims because there have been no requests for ransom. How do you label this? Kasi kumbaga, if this were in the US, the Federal Bureau of Investigation would be stepping in, calling it potential organized crime. Dito ba sa cockfighting or missing sabungeros, ano nang level? What level or what category is the PNP putting it in?
Yes, Sir Cito, right now we are treating these cases as missing Sabungeros in the absence of any concrete evidence that would indicate that there was a kidnapping case that is involved. Nonetheless, we are treating this case very seriously, and in fact, no less than the Chief PNP directed the CIDG to lead the investigation. And upon receipt of the report, Sir Cito, the CIDG immediately created a special investigation task group composed of composite teams of PNP units, so to focus on this investigation, Sir Cito.
Okay, now missing persons is one case, but when grenades are thrown or left inside a cockpit of the cockpit operator, ibang level na yun. Either it's a grenade me scenario or it is a watch out because we will grenade you scenario. Now, gangster level na yun, Colonel Franco. What is the reaction of the PNP on that report of 2 grenades found inside and outside the cockpit?
That's right, Sir Cito. No, the 2 incidents involving the throwing of a grenade in the one of the cockpit arena that was identified as the last area where this missing Sabungero were last seen is part of the investigation being conducted by CIDG. And just to share a little information, Sir Cito, the 2 grenade that was found in Manila Arena cockpit area is not capable of exploding. So we are surmising this is just being employed just to at least probably create a diversion, or probably just to mislead the investigation, Sir Cito.
Walang yung buhay ito. Pati Granada pang press release na, Colonel. Okay, anyway, sorry. Kailangan ko lang medyo to lighten things up, Colonel. Kasi yung next topic medyo seryoso. And that this is actually the reason why we asked that you guest on the show. Medyo napapadalas na, or there has been a frequency of reports regarding airing police officers involved in kidnapping, murder, assassination, fake buy bust, etc. What's happening, Colonel Franco? We know that the PNP, in fairness, yung CIDG sa Pampanga, they acted against their own personnel. In Catbalogan, the 9 suspects realized they were being hunted down, so they surrendered. So the PNP is moving. But what's causing all of this? Kasi halos every 2 or 3 weeks may nare-report na may gumagawa ng hindi tama.
Yes, Sir Cito, no, it's very unfortunate and very disturbing and very sad on our part to really came to know that a number of police officers is being reported and in fact being prosecuted for being involved in illegal activities. And this is precisely the reason why our Chief PNP, in his guidance given to the regional commanders during yesterday's command conference, gave a stern warning to all commanders to really supervise all their personnel so that these incidents could be prevented, if not totally stopped, Sir Cito.
Okay, Colonel Franco, is there an action or a movement within the PNP for lifestyle check? Kasi that is already an indicator that some people are living well within their means. Kumbaga, tinaasa na nga ni Presidente Duterte yung sweldo nila, naghahanap pa sila ng mas malaki at mas mabilis. Is there a process of lifestyle check inside the PNP?
Yes, Sir Cito, no, the lifestyle investigation is really being conducted by the PNP. And just for your information, Sir Cito, no, as early as 2020, the PNP issued a memorandum circular, which we call the internal disciplinary mechanism, which comprises of 3 approaches. The first phase is the preventive, the second phase is the punitive, and the last phase is the restorative. It's not just because the previous internal cleansing mechanism of the PNP is not working, but this time around the PNP would like to really give a specific action-based and punitive sanction to all who will be found violating the existing rules and policy of the PNP, and not just the PNP involved in specific crimes, Sir Cito. Also, their immediate supervisors, their squad leader, the chief of police, the provincial director will be held responsible under the doctrine of command responsibility.
Yung cases of kidnap in band, robbery in band, I'm just using in band, kasi familiar naman kayo sa police niyan. When this happens to a unit, does the regional head or the provincial head get taken out of the assignment? Kasi I remember there was a time when the PNP implemented a one-strike policy. Baga, isa lang magkamali dyan sa mga tao ninyo na nakakahiya, tanggal kayo dyan sa pwesto ninyo. Is the PNP still using the one-strike policy?
That is correct, Sir Cito. No, the one-strike policy still exists, and a case in point is the incident involving 8 CIDG personnel that was arrested also by CIDG personnel in Angeles City. Their immediate supervisor, their team leader, and the chief of the division where these 8 CIDG personnel were assigned was administratively relieved from his post pending investigation. Again, like what I mentioned earlier, Sir Cito, it's not only the PNP personnel involved, but those who exercises command and control over them will be held responsible for the action of these erring policemen.
Okay, well that's good to know, Colonel Franco, kasi alam mo naman na ako in the past I have been a mentor in the Directorate for Community Relations, and I have seen how the PNP officials have been trying to improve the quality of service and public relations of the PNP. So masakit pag nadidinig natin yan. Now, speaking of public relations, kahapon may nagpadala naman sa akin ng the video of the Oplan Baklas of the COMELEC. And kung nandun ako sa Community Relations Office, baka mayroon akong pinatawag sa Manila at nasigawan kasi lumabas doon sa video ang nagbabaklas, police. And from what I know, Colonel, and our experience there, the police are just supposed to provide security, make sure that peace and order is maintained and that there is no violence. And ang nangyari, parang pati sila nakisali na sa paghila, nakasuot pa ng uniforme. Can you kindly explain why this is happening? Hindi ba sila naturuan na bago kayo sumali sa ganyan, mag-check muna kayo sa national headquarters?
Yes, Sir Cito, na this report has reached Kamkrame, and you are correct in saying that any PNP personnel should not be involved in removing these campaign materials while it is may deem illegal for violation of the existing COMELEC guidelines. But nonetheless, you are correct, sir, in saying that the PNP personnel should be limited in providing security, while the COMELEC and other government agencies like DPWH and DNR are removing this campaign material. And that being said, sir, this incident is now being investigated and validated, and rest assured that those PNP personnel found violating existing protocol will be reprimanded, if not penalized for their actions, Sir Cito.
Okay, well, I suppose that unlike the COMELEC that did not give fair warning, I think the PNP can at least give fair warning to its personnel that as deputized officers, dapat mag-secure lang sila or magtanong sila sa PIO or sa Office of the Chief PNP kasi nadamay na naman yung imahe ng PNP. Okay, what is the situation now for the PNP as far as the elections are concerned, Colonel Franco?
Yes, sir. The PNP is still in the peak of preparation for the coming election, and since the campaign period started last February 8, we're really facing a big challenge in terms of consolidating our personnel, considering the insufficiency of our number compared to a lot of public conveyances and convergence that is expected to be filled up by people who wants to see their national candidates. That being said, sir, the PNP is closely coordinating and cooperating with the local COMELEC campaign committees to avoid particularly those observation in previous campaign sorties wherein the minimum public health standards were deemed and seen violated, Sir Cito.
Okay, Colonel Jean, sorry namamatanda ako Franco ako ng Franco dito, Fajardo. Dapat ang sinasabi ko, I am so sorry, Colonel Fajardo. Ewan ko ba kung bakit sabi Franco, parang bad habit na lang, okay? But my apologies for addressing you in the wrong manner. It's Colonel Jean Fajardo. Okay, well, Colonel Jean, thank you very much, and rest assured that we support the PNP, and that is why we invited you today, so that at least maintindihan naman ng mga nakakapanood sa agenda that the PNP is doing something and that we can rely on your professionalism in the field. Thank you very much, Colonel Jean.
Thank you very much, Sir Tito, and good morning.
Okay, yan po si Colonel Jean Fajardo. Ewan ko ba kung bakit, kasi meron din kasi akong kaibigang Franco. Okay, hindi po yung artista, no? Okay, that's Police Colonel Jean Fajardo, official spokesperson of the Philippine National Police. We will go for a quick break. When we return, pag-usapan naman natin, mga alaga, hindi po pansabong. Alagang mga hayop for those of you who like dogs, pigeons, kois, etc. A friend of mine had given me a name, suggested our next guest, and let's find out all the stuff he knows about animals here on Agenda. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. And next up, we have a very interesting guest kasi ito po yung storya. Here's the backstory. A friend of mine, Christopher Salva, good friend, gave me the name of our next guest, but we were not quite sure what aspect of his career to feature. Kasi sabi nga ni Chris Salva sa akin, Kuyang, big time yan. He's in the construction business. He's got building supplies, etc. And I said, well, hindi naman tayo magtatayo ng hardware. So is there something else? Uy, nako, he's very much into dogs, kois, pigeons, etc. And I said, bingo, that is the man we want. We are not interested in construction. We want pets. Okay, kasi alam ko po, marami sa inyo during lockdown needed something to relax you and to entertain you, or at least to keep you happy. Now, our next guest started out as an architect. He graduated from the University of Santo Tomas, and he is also a known author regarding his pets. The book he wrote is Jaime Jimmy Lim's Top Secrets of Pigeon Racing Revealed. Okay, well, let's give him the opportunity to tell us all about his animal kingdom and his genetic company, the Advanced Hobbyist Genetic Breeding Station. Let's welcome Mr. Jaime Jimmy Lim. Sir Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, Cito, and good morning sa mga viewers natin.
Okay, pasensya ka na. Alam ko kanina nagtataka ka kung bakit pinagpuntirya namin yung mga pigeon at hayop instead of your multimillion construction company. Kasi alam nyo, mas maraming interesado ngayon sa pets. Now, setting aside your profession as an architect, builder, etc., paano na-develop itong love for animals of Jimmy Lim?
Since I was a kid, I was influenced by my dad. Mahilig rin na daddy ko. And I had a neighbor with the name of Thomas. Mahilig rin siya. So I was influenced. My passion is breeding. Anything that I can breed, I love to breed. Pag di ko ma-breed, I don't keep them.
Okay, now, so obviously you are bringing our conversation to your Advanced Hobbyist Genetic Breeding Station. Now, ano ba yung genetic breeding station yan? Kasi alam mo, the only genetic breeding station I'm familiar with is about pigs, hogs. Yun ang alam ko, no? Pero ano ba yung sa'yo, Sir Jimmy?
In breeding, di naman yung basta just breed, especially in pigeon racing, you need to know how to line breed, inbreeding them, and that consists of genetic laws. So my hobby, it's my hobby. It's a passion that I want to have after I retired. Unfortunately, ayaw pa ako ipa-retire ng mga anak ko. And it's not only breeding. When you breed, you should know what you're breeding. You cannot just breed one color to another color. You need a formula. You have to learn the genetics behind that.
Okay, and so what is your greatest passion? Is it really pigeons? Kasi dito sa listahan ng mga alaga mo, you have kois, which actually caught my attention first, and then dogs, and then you have pigeons, and you even have game fowl. Now, let's start with what was your first obsession or first passion of the four?
My first passion was raising pigeons. That's what ako nakilala ko sa raising pigeons. But lately, I'm more into reptiles breeding. It's really a challenge if you can go into breeding reptiles. So
Okay.
I have the biggest reptile farm here in the country and one of the biggest in Asia.
Nakakatakot ka palang makaaway kasi may nagsabi sa akin, huwag kang makikipag-away sa taong may reptile farm dahil baka ipakidnap ka, di pakain ka sa buhaya. When you say reptile, are we talking about crocodiles and alligators, or are we talking about the household variety?
What I keep is the spectacled caiman. Medyo smaller variety ng crocodile or other it's smaller. It's around 6 feet ang laki.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's so special about this caiman species?
It's a challenge. I think very few here have been breeding caiman, and I have a game fowl farm.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to keep some caiman. Pag may mortality, I feed them to the caiman, so I don't have to burn them or bury them. So it's mas simplified, mas malinis.
Okay, so you have reptiles, you have pero you said kanina your first passion was pigeons. Para dun sa mga nagtataka kasi I have friends who are into pigeon racing, and I often say, what do you get out of that? I mean, okay, so you brought the bird to Bicol and it flew to Manila. So what? It's not like in, I think, Taiwan or in UK where pigeon racing is a lot of money. There's a prize money and you make a lot and you become a celebrity. But in the Philippines, parang hindi pa ganun ka big time ang pigeon racing.
Here it's only a sport. It's a pigeon sport. Sometimes those kids, they do side bet, malilit lang. But in our club, we just give you trophies. It's the prestige for winning a race, especially in the national race. Every year, we have one national race where the legend can compete with the small loft, mga maliliit, mga maliit lang loft nila, mga hobbies, mga newbies. So we can compete together. And what you get is a trophy and prestige winning the national race.
Okay, now, what sort of money are we talking about in terms of investments? Because alam ko sa game fowl, it can be as cheap as 500 pesos or it can be as expensive as 25 pesos per rooster. But in pigeons, ano ba yung going rate? Ano ba mga prices ng mga racing pigeon na yan? And how can I tell the difference between a racing pigeon and a pigeon that is going headed to Ongpin for soup and siopaw?
Okay. The racing pigeon, we keep are those that with parang thoroughbred ng racehorses, ng manok, mga panabong na with good bloodline. So number one is the bloodline. So we import that from Belgium, Holland, US, mga thoroughbred. And the prices in national race the cost of the van is only 250 pesos to cover the expenses because you need training, you need transport to bring them to the release point. So may gastos yun. And when you win, meron kang trophy. It's big one. It's an Italian trophy na huge. So it's really parang sa Formula Racing, you win a trophy, something like that.
Okay, pero magkakano yung pigeons?
Here locally, cost of pigeons around 5 to 10,000 maybe. But the sa auction, there's one bird, New Kim, sold for 91 million to China.
Pakiulit nga. How much?
That's one, the highest bided price for an auction is a bird named New Kim, sold to Taiwan, not sold to China for 91 million pesos.
91 million pesos. Okay,
Yes.
and in the Philippines, what is the most expensive? How much is the most expensive racing pigeon?
There's one guy, but he passed away by the name of Paul Ung. He imported 2.5 million pesos, one pigeons, but he had several.
Ooh, okay. And you are breeding these pigeons. You have this company, Advanced Hobbyist Genetics. How do you make a business out of it? Do you import the pigeons, breed the pigeons, and sell? Or kasi sa akin sa pagbababoy, they sell the sperm, the breeding material itself. Paano ba sa inyo sa Advanced Genetics?
Actually, the Advanced Genetic Breeding Station is not making money. It's my hobby.
Okay. What does it do?
We do breed, we do import, we do sell, but we sell not enough for the expenses because the feeds alone. The feeds alone, ang laki ng cost ng feeds ko for all the animals that I keep.
Mm-hmm.
If I can produce, that's my passion, and I'm happy.
Well, okay.
I
You
enjoy
and
it.
me.
Yeah.
You and me, the same. We have roosters we cannot sell and we cannot fight. Okay, anyway, going to dogs naman because
Okay.
that is one of the most popular things right now, dogs. What kind of dogs are you keeping, breeding? Are you selling them?
I keep only one breed now. Before I had 16 breeds. Now I keep only Kison. It's an old Dutch breed. Double layer coat siya. And it has only one color. It's a gray, it's a black and gray color.
Okay.
Black and silver.
From Holland, from the Netherlands.
From Holland. Yeah, it's a medium-sized dog.
Okay, but before you concentrated on one breed, what were the other breeds that you were taking care of?
Before, I have Shetland Collies. I have German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois. I have Chihuahua. I have Maltese. I have Pekingese. A lot more.
Okay, many of
16
them
all
are
in all.
lap dogs and house pets because I also take care of dogs, but my dogs are mostly 80% Great Dane, 20% Belgian Malinois for the farm and for security. Ngayon, what advice can you give to people who want to buy dogs? Kasi like me, I have been arguing with my wife kasi I want to buy a Cane Corso, the Italian hound. And everybody said, you're crazy because that dog is going to be bigger than you. So, I mean, what advice do you give people who tell you, Sir Jimmy, we want to buy a dog, but we don't know what would be the perfect breed?
I would recommend smaller breed. The Kison is a medium breed, okay? Medium breed and smaller breeds. Me and my kids, we love dogs a lot. Our dogs sleep on our bed every night. I have 3 dogs in my bed, and we love them as our babies. So keep dogs with a good temperament, and you have to know how to care for them, brush them every day. May yaya ako sa dogs ko. So that's why they're allowed to be on my bed because the yaya will brush their teeth, pupunasan sila before they can stay with us inside the room.
Okay, pero buhay mayaman yung mga aso mo, Sir Jimmy, kasi sa akin, they have to work for their keep.
Because on my case, dalawa na lang kami dito sa bahay. All my kids are not with us.
Aha.
Even the unmarried one because of the COVID. Exposed sila, lumalabas sila kami. We saw them go out. So the dogs are our babies. Parang babies namin. We have
Okay.
one big dog. It's a golden retriever. Sobrang talino, so lovable.
Okay. Now, so you have pigeons, you have dogs, you have fighting cocks, you have caimans. Paano ka naman napunta sa kois? Kasi alam mo, yung some people may not know, yung koi po, yun yung decolor na karpa na ubod ng mahal. Are you just a hobbyist or are you like a friend of mine, a congressman na meron pa siya noon na 1 million peso koi breeder na minalas-malas after na nangitlog, bumaliktad?
My koi collection, sumasali kami sa show. So I have several, a koi worth several millions. They're big and I'm competing, nagko-compete din ako sa Japan. And all my kois are imported from Japan. I go to Japan before the pandemic 4 times a year to select the koi. And I love it, I enjoy it. Imagine for 3 days, starting from morning up to evening, pumipili ka. Nakakapagod but to enjoy it. I love to go there. And, sadly, because of the pandemic, di na kami makapasyal doon. I have big kois. Those are around 90 centimeter and it costs multi-millions. There was one koi auction, ang pangalan ng koi, the legend. It was auctioned out for 208 million yen. So that's around 104 million pesos. So for one koi. So when you keep those talagang magaganda at panglaban for sure, they're really expensive.
Yeah, but are you in the commercial business or are you in the business of selling kois? Kasi may mga iba na they actually breed the kois and sell them. Others import them like you do. At what point or level are you as far as the hobby is concerned?
I'm also breeding them. All my parental stocks are imported from Japan. And in one breeding, if you can get 1% good kois, you're lucky.
That's
Usually
very
it's
true.
0.5%. Yes. So most of the are the kois that I don't like. I have a showroom in Makati, Magallanes. It's Koi Village Pet Mall. That's where I bring.
Okay.
That's where I bring the koi that I don't like. I don't keep. I cannot keep them all.
Okay,
But I have
hindi
a
naman
very big one.
hindi naman you don't like, but because you cannot keep them all. Kasi how many eggs does a koi lay when you breed them? I suppose several thousand.
Around 200,000.
Yeah. And if you only get 50% hatch, you still have 100,000 fingerlings, and you only get 1% of 100,000, patay-patay ka na. So anong gagawin mo? But do you approve of that practice? Kasi I met someone who is in the commercial aspect, and he told me, Cito, if you discover that 50 to 60% of the koi or the karpa that you have in the pond are not colorful or not attractive, just kill them. Sabi ko, teka pa rin, hindi ko gawain yung basta magpatay. May buhay yan, binuhay mo, pinaitlog mo, pinapisa mo, tapos papatayin mo. What's your philosophy regarding that, Sir Jimmy?
Because after 45 days, when we breed them, after 45 days, we have our first cull. That's where you take out the orange, the white, the one color that walang pattern. And we consider that as feeders. So you have to feed them to other, I have my turtle, I have my tortoise, I feed them, and I have my bear cat, I have other animals where we can feed them. So you have to dispose them. Kasi some may tatapon sa basurahan, babaho pa. It's a practical, it would be practically feed it to other animals. The
Okay. Kumbaga,
call-outs.
you just put them into the food chain. You
Yes.
don't kill and then just throw in the garbage, or like with the game fowl, yung pansabong mo na mga namamatay or reject. You don't just kill and bury. You actually feed them to mga, ano ba yung caiman? Alligator yun, di ba?
No, it's
Crocodile?
no, it's not. It's another family. You have the
Okay,
crocodile
okay.
family, the alligator family, and the caiman family. It's a smaller buaya.
Okay, pasensya na. You're
Yeah.
now educating me
Mhm.
because that's something that I was always confused about. Is it an
Uh-huh.
alligator or a crocodile? Neither. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, where do you keep all of your pets? Kasi having so many pets is also having a lot of responsibility. They require a lot of space, etc.
I keep my reptiles and koi in Bulacan, Pandi,
Mhm.
Bulacan. I keep my game fowl, bantam chicken. I have a lot of bantam chicken, nice one. Uh, I keep heritage chicken, organic chicken. All of them is in Cuenca, Batangas.
Mhm.
And my dogs are in my rest house in Tagaytay.
Okay, and your kois?
Koi is in Bulacan.
Okay, is there any particular reason why you put certain animals in certain location? Kasi katulad dito sa Batangas, people have traditionally believed it's a great place to keep horses and fighting cocks. Now sa Bulacan, it always seems to be the preferred location for poultry and for piggeries. In your case, having been in this hobby and business for the longest time, why do you pick certain places for certain animals?
Okay, in Pandi, Bulacan, ang soil is clay. Parang clay. It holds water. So when you fill the pan, pag mag-grow out ka ng koi, you cannot keep in a concrete pan. It should be in a mud pan. So one mud pan is around half hectare, 6,000 square meter, malalaki. And we keep a few good ones only. For a big pan, we keep around 600 pieces. Then we call out and keep on selecting. Pag pinuno mo ng tubig, I have 6 deep well pumps. So it takes 1 week to fill up the pond. It holds. Hindi siya bumababa. We cannot do that in Batangas. It cannot hold water. So I have to keep them separately.
Mhm.
So one's in the north and one in the south.
Okay, so merong lugar talaga, it is good for the technology and the environment. And then what about the dogs? Do dogs have kasi may mga debate ngayon regarding people keeping medium-sized to large dogs in townhouses na hindi, sabi nga, it's not appropriate and it's not considerate of animals.
Okay, I keep my kison in Tagaytay because the climate there is cooler. And for a double coat dog, it's better to condition them in a cooler place, cooler climate.
Mhm.
So Tagaytay is one good place to breed the kison.
Okay. Do they, once they're born in the Philippines, can you say that they're acclimatized or hindi pa rin? Because genetically, they still keep the double fur.
No, okay sila. I have several clients or buyers who have bought my dogs. They keep in Manila, no problem.
Okay. Now, I just noticed hindi nabanggit dito parrots. Bakit wala kang parrots sa listahan?
I have a lot.
Aha!
I breed a lot.
Sabi ko na nga ba eh. Sabi ko na. Okay, can you tell us about the parrots?
Actually, here in my house, that's a complaint ng mga daughters ko. My house is na the second and third floor. Ground floor is the office. Dad, ang ingay ng ibon.
Okay, now what are the kind of parrots you're keeping? Kasi may kaibigan ako, puro mako ang kaya, yung the largest parrots, and yun ang preference niya. What about you, Jimmy?
I'm trying to buy mako now. Yesterday, I was in a farm kay Manny Manalang. I was trying to buy some mako from him. And what I keep here are African greys, uh, Amazon. I have a lot of Amazons. I
Mhm.
have Rosemary Eclectus, and I have a lot of conures, different kind of conures. I have
Mhm.
breadcrumbs. I have a lot. I keep a lot.
Okay.
I keep on
Eh,
buying.
kanya,
Yesterday, I spent half of the day buying birds.
ay nako, yan ang hirap eh. Dapat magkaapo ng marami para hindi puro ibon ang inaasikaso. Okay, well, Jimmy, could you just give us some of your wisdom regarding caring for animals? Kasi, I mean, of course, you have the means to take care of, to buy, to take care of animals. And you also don't have that financial burden and responsibility of taking care of your children kasi malalaki na rin sila. But there are people who go crazy with animals, and there are people who don't know the first thing about taking care of animals. Could you just share some of your wisdom quickly?
Because I've known people who keep on buying, but they don't know how to care for them, how to house them. Bili lang sila ng bili, and that's very bad. Kasi namamatay na lang. Very seldom I have any mortality because I learned how to keep them. I learned what's the diet. You have to learn everything, how to housing, how to habitat, how they breed in the habitat before you start keeping them. Kasi that's one thing I hate, people mag-alaga sila, mamatay lang, bibili, mamatay. Kawawa sila. So at first thing, you should learn how to care for them before you start keeping them.
Mhm. Okay, so learn how to care for them before you start keeping them. And how about the financial aspect? When is enough and when is too much? I
you know,
shouldn't be asking you.
you know, complain ng mga kids ko at wife ko, I never stop. So, it depends upon kung gaano kalaki ang lugar mo. If you don't have enough space, you have to stop. Don't
Oh,
wag mo isiksik sila because any animals, pag overdense sila, the ammonia comes up,
yeah.
namamatay sila. So, low dense. Even my koi, everything, low dense.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. It's been a very entertaining morning with you, and a very surprising kasi it's not every day I meet someone, or we guest someone who has practically every known animal except for elephants in his backyard. Thank you very much, Mr. Jimmy Lim.
Thank you. Welcome. You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Okay, that's
Thank you.
our guest, last guest for today, none other than Jaime Jimmy Lim, President and CEO of Advanced Hobbyist Genetic Breeding Station. And tulad po ng sabi niya, it's not something he could call a business because he's not making money on it. It is his passion. Like many of us, we have passion. And speaking of passion, please witness all the action on the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Make sure to tune in to the Beijing Winter Olympics channel, available for free on Cignal, channel 198 SD and channel 298 HD. Available exclusively to all active Cignal subscribers until February 20, 2022. Like and follow Cignal on Facebook for more updates on this event and other awesome shows for the whole family. Let's now go to our weekly blessing for the week from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. And I thank PLDT for their home fiber optic internet here in Lipa, and bukas po medyo mag-change of location tayo. Makikita nyo na lang tomorrow. Thank you for joining us this morning. God bless all of you. And please keep it here on One News PH.